On April 4th, 1928, I was born as Margaret Annie Johnson in St. Louis, Missouri, but I am most commonly known as Maya Angelou. I lived with my parents and brother Bailey up until 1931. My mom and dad got a divorce when I was only 3. Soon after, Bailey and I were sent to Grandma. We arrived in a small town in Stamps, Arkansas. As I grew up, I experienced racial discrimination, which was widespread in the South, but I also was able to absorb the deep religious faith of African American life. Growing up, Bailey could not pronounce my name because of his stutter. Instead of Margaret, he called me Maya, as in my sister. A few years after, when Bailey learned about the Mayan Indians, he began to call me Maya. This name stuck. In 1935, Bailey and I went to visit Mama in Chicago. While visiting, I was raped at the age of 7 by Mama's boyfriend. Later, when I found out that my uncle had killed the monster, I believed that my words had killed a man. I resorted to falling silent for 5 years. I began to talk again when I was 13, and Bailey and I went to live with Mama in San Francisco. I attended Mission High School and was awarded a scholarship to study dance and drama. When I was still in my teens, I dropped out of school and became San Francisco's first African American female cable car conductor. When I did return to high school, in my senior year, I became pregnant. Soon after graduation, I gave birth to my son, Guy Johnson. This is Guy and me when we're all grown up. When I was 16, I moved out and supported Guy by working as a waitress and a cook. I never let my passion for dance, music, performance, and poetry go. When I was 24, I married a Greek sailor and began nightclub singing. I took the professional name Maya Angelou by combining my childhood nickname with part of my husband's last. My marriage did not last, but my performing career began to grow. For many years, I had been composing song lyrics and poems. By the end of the 1950s, I knew I had a passion for writing. I moved to New York to execute my writing dream and joined the Harlem Writers Guild. When I was in New York, I fell in love with Vizumzi Make, who was a South African civil rights activist. In 1960, we all moved to Cairo, Egypt, and I worked as an editor. Later, Guy and I moved to Ghana, where I worked as an instructor, assistant administrator, and feature editor. After having met with Malcolm X, I decided to return back to America. I came back with the goal to support his new organization of African American Unity. But just as we began executing his plans, he was assassinated. I always remained active in the civil rights movement and began to work closely with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I was completely devastated when his assassination fell on my birthday. With the help from my friend James Baldwin, I found peace with writing. This was the beginning of my first book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which was published in 1970 and was an enormous success. It describes the time from my childhood to when I gave birth to Guy. With time, my autobiographies were popular internationally. I was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for my poetry book, Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water Before I Die. In addition to this award, I was honored with many other recognitions, such as a Tony, Inaugural Poet, 3 Grammys, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I had the privilege of speaking at President Clinton's inauguration in 1993. My reading of On the Pulse of the Morning was broadcast live around the world. Here's a passage from the poem. Here on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes, into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, good morning. Then in 1981, in North Carolina, I was a professor of American Studies at Wake University. Also, I directed the film Down in the Delta in 1996. My list of published works are so long, including many volumes of verse and books of my stories and essays. After I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, I continued the narratives about my life. As long as I lived my life to the fullest and do what I love, a giant discovery was made. In 1943, Oswald Avery proved that DNA was the genetic material of the chromosome. In 1955, Rosa Parks was arrested after she refused to give up her seat to a white man on the Montgomery, Alabama bus. These individuals are so inspiring to me. Throughout my lifetime, I continued to receive prestigious awards. In 2008, my book Letter to My Daughter was published. Then, in 2011, Barack Obama awarded me the nation's highest civilian honor. In 2013, my last book was published, Mom and Me and Mom. This was a tribute to my mama and grandma. Then, on May 28, 2014, I passed away in my home in North Carolina at the age of 86. I died an award-winning author, renowned poet, civil rights activist, and one of the most respected voices in America. I lived a long, hard, meaningful life and died a respected hero. I know that I live on through my writing, and I hope that along the way I did more than just amaze, but inspire, move, encourage, and guide. Thank you. And I am Maya Angelou.